Hey everyone, welcome to our September Release Over 20 live giveaway. We've got a great show tonight. We've got a special guest, and without further ado, I want to bring on our board members, Carrie and Adam.
Hey guys.
Michael couldn't join us today. He's got some things going on, but we'll miss him. We'll see him next time. Before we get started, I just wanted to say, hope our state rep Kyle down in Florida is going to be all right. We're tracking that hurricane, and man, it's like heading right to his house. And of course, many of our other followers, C.A. Richardson, a lot of those guys are like right in the crosshairs. So, hoping the best for them. Hope everyone gets out and be safety first, most of all. But gosh, poor Florida. They've just been taking a wallet this season. It's sad to see, but Mother Nature, right, guys?
Turned into a Hurricane 5 too, didn't it?
Yeah, really fast.
Yeah,
really fast. So anyway, just wanted to get that out there first of all. But we're going to keep the intros kind of short. But how you guys doing? Everyone good? Doing well?
Doing well.
Yeah, doing okay. Thanks.
Good. We were just talking before the show started about with Carrie. Carrie caught a significant catch today. Why don't you let us know what you got today?
Well, we've got friends in from Missouri, high school friends. My wife and I have known them for years, and got them on the boat today. And probably the most exciting thing was getting my friend Mike's wife, Leslie, my wife's best friend, getting her on a 26-inch redfish. The drag was screaming. It was taking out line, and she's just reeling like a maniac. And as you know, it's chaotic. This 4 minutes of just complete chaos, and I'm trying to tell her what to do and all that. But we did manage. I did catch a 22.25-inch trout, big fatty. So that's 3/4 of an inch shy of my personal best. So that was a nice fish.
Great catch for the rest of our followers in other states. In South Carolina, that's actually an outstanding trout.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the biggest trout fishery, but anyway, yeah, congrats, man. I'm jealous.
Thanks.
Really nice one.
What'd you get it on?
Caught it on a little. I downsized everybody. We were catching some trout, but we were throwing 3-inch swim baits, and I downsized to one of those swim. What is it? The trim, the little swim.
Slim swim.
Slim swim. Yeah.
Ned
And
rig?
huh?
Was it a Ned rig?
Basically,
no, it wasn't a Ned rig. No, it was just
Close
a jig
enough.
head. Just a jig head with it was a little short. I had a little short jig head, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go with a smaller bait because they were, a lot of those trout today were kind of short biting. They weren't very big trout. And I just had told my friend Mike, I said, normally if I was trout fishing, I'd probably leave here and go try to find a place with bigger trout. And then it wasn't 5 minutes later, but I thought it was a redfish. I made 2 passes at my wife was on the net. I made 2 passes at the net, and on the third pass, I realized it was a trout. I thought it was a redfish. I looked at it twice as it went past the net, and the third time I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's a trout!" But we caught a lot of fish today, so
Excellent.
Oh, that's cool. I wanted to make just a couple quick announcements. First of all, there hasn't been a public announcement yet, but we found out recently that we applied for and were selected to be involved in the Create-a-thon, which is by the University of South Carolina. And what it is like a 24-hour pull an all-nighter kind of thing with their basically their marketing people, their students. And we gave them 3 different projects we'd like them to do for us, and it cost us nothing. They're going to crank it out, and really looking forward to working with them. They're excited. We're excited. They said our nonprofit really stood out amongst all their applicants, and I think they had a lot. So we're really honored to be selected. So hopefully I think it's November, so you'll probably see late November, early December, like the fruits of that labor. Excited to show everyone what they come up with. And thanks to Ashley, our social media person, for bringing that to our attention. Got a couple of late additions here. We got Scotty and Don showing up. We'll bring them on. There's Don. Scotty's loading. In the meantime, I wanted to just point out I was able to meet personally a couple of our followers and people that are involved with the nonprofit in different ways. One is Captain Jimmy Skinner from Fontaine Charters. He's been our #1 guide in the nation for several months, and he's down at Edisto Beach. I happened to be vacationing down there, and finally got a chance to meet him. Great guy. We got along great. All week long, we were passing each other in the boats, just asking how each one was doing and that kind of thing. And really cool to meet him. And then just yesterday, I got to meet Mike Santoro from he's Fish or Die for Life on Instagram. You might have seen me reposting his stuff over the years, but he's from Virginia, and he works down here in South Carolina for the Navy on projects occasionally. So really fishy dude, great guy. We had a great day together. Tough day of catching. We grounded out. Once the tide started out, we got in a couple nice redfish, which is pretty cool. Finally got something worthy of taking a picture of. But when you meet people, spend time on the boat together, it just it really brings home just like how cool it is to make this network of people around the country that I never would have met. I know you guys, same thing. It's really cool when you get a chance to sort of meet up. And, I feel like both of these guys are friends going forward now. It's just pretty cool. All right. So, I'm going to turn over to Carrie to introduce our special guest tonight.
Well, we've kind of got away from doing this featured sponsor segment. I want to get back into it, but it's guys like Greg Sample, who is the owner of Pure Flats. They make the slick lure. Just bringing Greg on. Greg's a friend of ours, not just a friend, but he's been there from the very inception of Release Over 20 and been giving us merchandise for giveaways. And so let's bring him on.
All right. Let me see. Bring this back here. Let's see.
There
we go.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. What a treat to be here with all of you guys tonight. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're just going to play this by ear a little bit, but we wanted to treat it a little bit sort of like a podcast, and just we all feel like we know you pretty well, but I think a lot of our followers probably don't, or maybe they do if they listen to like Speckled Truth podcast, for example, or a number of other things you've been involved with. But can you start out by just kind of giving us a little bit of your background?
Certainly. And Carrie, I know you got some stuff going on, so do what you got to do, my friend.
Well,
it is. I think it was a year ago, right around this month, that I was visiting some friends down near Bluffton, and drove up and got to fish with Carrie and Adam, and had a great time with you guys. And then Dave, you put me on a really nice 25 in that area. I think that was the picture on the intro. So
we're going to talk about that.
It was great fortune. It was really a lot of fun. But Carrie, I want to be respectful. I know you've got some guests in town, so do what you have to do, my friend.
Thank you, Greg. And I apologize I have to go, but I've got a Chiefs game tonight. Got my Chiefs shirt on. We got our friends from Missouri, so they're pumped up, ready to watch the game. So I'm going to leave you with it. And thanks for coming on, Greg. And thanks for your support. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You better watch
love the
those
partnership.
Saints
And go ahead, Don.
You better watch those Saints tonight. They'll slip up on you.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Derek Carr, he always does. All right, guys.
All right.
Have a
See
good
you,
evening.
Carrie.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
guys.
Carrie. Thank you.
right.
Yeah, well, Dave, so yeah, just a little bit of background about us, about Pure Flats. Pure Flats was started, as the opening slide showed, around 2015 by a guy named Joey Landrino. And Joey and I had a chance to come up and spend some time with you guys at the first Casted Forward event. Joey is a native of Louisiana and a guy who kind of converted from bass fishing to inshore, with a real passion for chasing speckled trout. He lives in that, or at least he fishes in that Big Bend area of Florida. And I really appreciate, Dave, you're bringing up earlier these storms that we've been having. Joey doesn't have a lot left in Keaton Beach, but it was hit extremely hard by this last storm. And we've got our good friend Kyle down there in Punta Gorda, as you said. So those guys are certainly in our thoughts and prayers. But Joey was, fishing a lot of, rocks and grass and so forth, and having a hard time with some treble hook lures and whatnot, coming up with a profile of a lure that would sink at the right depth in the water column, have kind of a good darting, erratic action. And coming up with the slick lure really was, his solution to try to figure that out. Not too long after that, probably it was around 2016, 2017, I was fishing with Patrick Garmison, who is also one of your reps down in Mobile. And Patrick and Richard Rutland and Bobby Abrascato were all guys who had discovered the lure and were winning a lot of tournaments with it. And it became my favorite lure to fish with. And so I had been really getting more and more passionate about chasing big speckled trout, and the slick lure was a great way to do it. I had actually driven to Houston to go buy the bay boat that I'm fishing out of now. This was around 2020, and I was listening to Joey on one of the Speckled Truth podcasts, and it was just a fascinating story, and it was particularly meaningful to me because I had, been fishing the lure then for probably 4 or 5 years, and it just a lot of dots were starting to connect. I got a chance a few months later to meet Joey down in Mobile, and we started talking about the fact that it was growing and he was looking for ways to scale the business. I was retiring at that time from the Coca-Cola company, and it just became a perfect way for me to kind of shift into a second career, to purchase Pure Flats from Joey and to try to find a way to really scale and, commercialize the business. And it just happened to be in an area that is my very favorite thing to do, which is inshore fishing. And so this was December of 2021 when that happened. And really at the beginning of 22, we moved our manufacturing to Birmingham, Alabama. Everything that we do is 100% made, manufactured, assembled, and distributed in the United States. We've got a strong partner over in Birmingham. We did some work with Zorn Molds to come out with the Slick Junior. We work with Action Plastics, who, shoots a lot of our, our product now. And one of the best discoveries we made was partnering with a local company here in Atlanta called the Bobby Dodd Institute. And they hire a lot of Atlanta's disabled workers. They do things like putting, caps on blood vials that go to doctor's office and putting back to school kits together and things like that, and have a really good kitting operation. And so, we needed the ability to glue eyes on every lure, and we needed the ability, to kind of get our lures in the package and get them barcoded and so forth. And the Bobby Dodd Institute just became a great solution for that. We were fortunate enough this year to win a Vendor of the Year award from those guys. And they're a pretty big nonprofit. I mean, they're about a $28 million nonprofit. They run about 60 different businesses. So we were really honored among, such a large company to be selected as a really strong partner of theirs. And then finally, we, distribute everything that we do out of all of our orders get fulfilled out of Duluth, Georgia. Warehouse partner up there called Phoenix Direct. And so pretty much all of our orders we're able to turn around, the same day, or the next morning. We've grown from about 20 retail shops to over 100 retail shops. Texas has really switched on strongly. North Carolina, Virginia are super strong markets. Mobile continues to be really strong. We're working harder on South Carolina and Florida, but it's been amazing to see this thing grow. And it's been great to get a lot of feedback, from anglers who are trying to fish grass, trying to, stay high in the water column, have an alternative to some top water action, folks that like to fish single hook lures. And then, I'm going to pull out some of my favorite things I've learned from Dave. You put that iStrike redfish eye jig head on here, and a lot of the guys in Virginia really like to go deep with this lure. And so you get a lot of variety, with the way different folks are able to fish the slick lure. So a bit of a long introduction. Sorry about that, but that's kind of who we are and what we do, how I got involved with it. And it's something I hope to do for many, many, many more years to come. Very grateful for the partnership.
I was going to say, you ticked off a lot of my questions right there, and but that's great. That's what we want to hear. And I know that's what our listeners want to hear, but can you talk a little bit more about the lure itself and like how it works and how it's designed and how you fish it?
Yeah, great question. You know, I like to say that there's three things that really make the slick lure, you know, different, better, and special. It's about a half ounce. It's actually 0.48 of an ounce of plastic. It's very aerodynamic. And so the castability of this thing is really strong. You can sling this thing a really, really long way. So, you know, you can cover more water, you know, get to a lot of spots, et cetera. From a design perspective, the curvature of the body, you know, of the Big Slick, you know, as well as, you know, the Slick Junior, the way the water breaks across the curvature of the body just creates a super erratic movement, you know, in almost all areas of the water column. And so, you know, I like to throw it out in kind of a twitch, pause action. And every time you twitch that rod, you know, done a lot of this research in the pool and in, you know, clean water when you see it, is you just never see that lure go the same direction, up, down, left, right. It really imitates a wounded bait fish quite well. And the third thing that, you know, that I would say about it is that you get so much flexibility in how you rig it. You know, it's designed, you've got that hook slot on the bottom. So, you know, it allows that swim bait hook, you know, to really move up into the lure. A lot of people will fill that hook slot with Procure or some type of attractant. You know, or if you go with, you know, with the jig head design, you get a little bit more of a nose fall profile. With the typical swim bait hook, you get a pretty flat horizontal glide. And then when you go with the weighted keel hook, you get a slightly faster descent. It's about 1 foot per second with the unweighted hook, about 1.1 feet per second with the weighted, and then even a little faster than that with the jig head. But really, I think it's the curvature of the body, Dave, that gives us, you know, different than a paddle tail, different than a lot of swim baits. You're moving a lot of water and you're getting a lot of erratic action.
Yeah. I think the first time I actually tried one and I saw how that thing looked in the water, how it just kind of like, I get in front of my camera, it just kind of like does this. And then it just looks like a wounded bait fish. That's just, it's almost like a cold stun where it's like, it's trying to twitch, but it's like, it's sort of sinking.
Right.
And I thought to myself, if I could design like the perfect lure for a big trout, like this is it. This is exactly how I want it to act. Right. But I hadn't caught anything on it yet. But the thing that, like, probably not a whole lot of people like what I like to do a lot, and mostly where I fish is brackish water, where there's not a lot of oysters. The structure is like fishing for bass, like it's fallen down trees and shrubs. And as much as I'd like to fish like a 27 MR in there, I'm going to make one cast and I'm going to lose it because it's got exposed treble hooks. So when I heard Joey talking about the why behind the design was like, you know, same thing. Like he was in the grass down in Florida, right? And he kept getting it hung on the trebs. So he's like, I need something that's going to slide through the grass and be weedless. And so he designed it with that giant EWG hook. And it's kind of cool because it works for me too, because now I can cast that thing right into the treetop and I can pull it straight through. And I get all the benefits of that suspending lure and the action that I like with, you know, I just feel like it looks super realistic. And best of all, man, you get that addicting thump. Like when they hit that thing, man, it is so addicting. They just crush it. I mean, it just jolts your spine when that thing hits.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've become a huge fan. And I think you asked me, like, Dave, why aren't we selling these in South Carolina? And I was like, Greg, you got to understand, we got 6 to 7 foot tides and the water's just rushing and you just can't get it down the strike zone, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is that you certainly can. You just have to go where there's flats, and you have to go maybe at the when the tide's like at high or low tide, when it's not moving as much. And most of all, I think you just need to be patient. Cast. Like you said, man, you can bomb that thing like farther than almost any other lure that I use. And so you can get it way up current and just wait for that thing to get down in the strike zone, then just start making little twitches, man. I learned a lot when you and I fished together. I want to talk about that in a second, but I was just watching you, and I've become a believer that thing really shines when you just have an unweighted hook. Like it sinks slow, man, but gosh,
if you're
like
patient,
it just looks so good when you just leave it unweighted. And if you need to go 6 feet down, you just wait for it to get down there. And I've had like a lot of success with it. So I've been a huge proponent. I've been bragging on it to everyone I know.
Well,
so,
thank you.
Anyway, I just wanted to give my perspective on it. So let's talk quick. So almost a year ago, you were on like a tackle shop tour with your sales hat on, right?
Yes, sir. Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. And then you swung through our state, and first day you went and fished with this guy up here.
Yeah, Adam. Yep. It was a lot of fun watching Adam and Carrie go after each other on the boat. Who was going to catch the first fish? Who was going to get the largest fish of the day? And I really enjoyed the competition.
Yeah, if you've ever watched Carrie's YouTube channel, you'll get a little taste of the banter, right? Yeah, so that's cool. So then you came and stayed with me and Lori, and we went out. This is a funny story because we went out in the morning, and we fished in one spot, and I think I got one on top water that was fair. It was pretty good trout, for here. And went to our second spot on a flat, and just came upon a wolf pack of big fish, and didn't really know what they were, but you could see the commotion. And I had a top water, and of course Greg has a B-cat tied on, and damn if he doesn't stick like a year's best fish for me, like in his first 30 minutes of fishing South Carolina, or at least with me anyway. So I just wanted to show again this fish. That's a freaking total fatty. So that was quite impressive.
That was super special. Special. So much fun.
Yeah. So kudos to you. Great job.
Well,
show us South
Carolina
guys.
You found the wolf pack. You
how
found
it's
the wolf
done.
pack, Captain.
Yeah, and I think if I recall, I had one just kind of like hunt for Red October behind my plug and then turn away. But he hit that slick lure like nothing.
Well, Dave, it was that was such a memorable and fun trip for me, and it was great to meet Laurie and spend some time with the whole team. I had been watching a lot of the things that you guys have been doing, on social media, on Instagram, and kind of following the build of the whaler. And it was so cool to get to see those things live and in person. And it's just really, I think, cool in this industry to share a passion, with folks like yourselves who have the same kind of inshore passion, or, just really, just fishing in general. But it's been really neat to see the variety, the kayak fishing that you guys have been doing, what you've done with that flats boat. Hats off to all of you guys for what you're doing, the way you carry yourselves, the way that you interact with industry partners, and congratulations as well on the South Carolina DNR role. That's pretty
thanks.
Well,
yeah, Greg, before we let you go, I think maybe it'd be somewhat helpful if you could kind of explain across your product line, what the general applications were for, using the regular slick versus the slick junior versus the little slick? I mean, obviously fishing, anything could work at any time, but just, how you would kind of think about your different products.
That's a great question. I would say that typically, the larger slick lure has been known more as a wintertime lure. It's been known more as a cold water lure, particularly when those fish are, kind of coming into the streams and coming in from, whatever Gulf or Atlantic, spawning period they've been in, and they start to move back inshore. That's not always the case, though, because, like we see in Texas year around, particularly around grass and so forth. And I don't think you see quite as much, Gulf to inshore migration in Texas as you do in, say, Alabama, Louisiana, probably a lot of the Carolinas. And so what I tend to do a lot is, I will use the Slick Junior as a downsized profile, to kind of search and to try to locate fish. I feel like I tend to get more strikes and have, better locating ability fishing the smaller lure. And then once we find them, then go ahead and upsize, to some bigger ones and, and try to entice that bigger fish, with the bigger lure. I've talked about variety a lot, Adam, and I would say that, as far as the junior is concerned, we see some similar rigging options where, a lot of guys, I'd say the bulk of the folks that fish the junior are fishing it with a jig head, typically an 1/8 ounce jig head. And for me, this is a year-round solution. It does well. I will use more of the lighter colors in the summer months when a lot of the fish are on a shrimp pattern. A lot of guys will fish this with a lighter jig head under a popping cork, which is a great warmer water, kind of shrimp pattern, type application. And then as it cools off, or as those fish are, maybe in grass a little bit deeper, moving to more of a swim bait profile. The same thing, so I've talked a lot about the junior and a little bit about the big slick. We've got a third model of our lure. This is one of our new colors. It's we call this the little slick. And so the little slick kind of does well both in summer conditions where you're after a smaller profile, sometimes later in the day when the fish are going deeper, they're not quite as active maybe as you saw in some of the morning bites. But then also in the wintertime, in the dead of winter, when we actually, did really well in that tournament that we co-hosted together, was like 30 degrees down in Hopedale, Louisiana last January. We caught the bulk of our fish, on the little slick, and on the junior, because those fish were glued to the bottom, and you just really had to get down low, drag very slow, a few pops, and just be really, really patient with them. But I think when those water temperatures are in the, I would say, 50 or, 45 to 70 degree range, I know that's a very large range, and you're, in more of that fall and winter pattern, that really is when the larger slick, kind of does the best damage. And when we're tournament fishing, we're almost exclusively fishing, the big slick, because we're trying to get those, those 5 big trout. And, it's certainly a catch and release tournament, the ones that I fish in. But when we're going after the big ones, we stick to the bigger lure.
All right, great. Thanks.
It's interesting you said that, because I feel like I've felt like the big slick really shines when the water temperature is right. Mm-hmm. for me. And it's maybe I just need to try it more than other times, but man, when it's right, it's right. It really, really works well.
We were, after this lighter storm had passed through near Dularge, Louisiana, a little bit west of Houma in that area. And it, fortunately it was not a very bad storm, but it did push a decent amount of water up into the marsh. And we were fishing down at our place that Saturday after the storm, actually that Sunday, Monday after the storm. And the water was really salty, but it was almost like a winter pattern type scenario. The temperatures weren't terribly high. I think, in the mid to upper 70 water temperature wise. you mentioned earlier fishing a lot around the, shrubs and, fallen trees and things like that. Well, there's a lot of rock structure, around Shell Beach and Hopedale, the area that I fish in. And so we did really well in the morning time with the big slick, like up against the rocks, because you could bounce it off the rocks and not worry about, losing that jig head or getting that thing stuck between two rocks. And then as the day warmed up a little bit, we downsized. And I think we caught 4 19-inch trout, those couple of days, which is really good, from a Louisiana perspective. So you're right. I think the water temperature, the conditions, kind of when those fish are feeding, they'll often tell you, where if I quit getting strikes on the big slick, I'll downsize, and then go to a smaller profile.
Yeah. So good comment here from Keith. If you don't know, Keith's kind of a legend in Virginia, and if you follow him, you see all the big trout he catches. But yeah, totally get that. Like big trout anglers, they'd rather just grind all day for that one. Totally agree. Couldn't agree more. Yeah. Corey's here. So Corey's our number 1 all-time angler in the whole program. So he's a legend here with Release Over 20. Thanks for joining in, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
I don't know if you saw this before, Don. I think, Don, you're muted. I don't know if you can hear us or not, but Daryl here's he's taunting you. He's taunting you, man. We Release Over 20 crew traveled with Don and Daryl to Texas last spring, so we're all friends. Great guy. Awesome, man. Well, Greg, I just wanted to thank you for joining us and all your support. You were a vendor at, I think, both Cast It Forward events we had, and we had you come and talk on the stage and had Joey talk, and appreciate that. And plus, you were helping work with our state reps, John and Cliff down in Louisiana. You all put together a fundraiser tournament last, I guess, January, I think.
Correct. Yes.
But
correct.
yeah, I just appreciate all the effort, man. You and Allison got your logos on your shirts and stuff, and I mean, gosh, it's just really appreciate all your support. I mean, you've gone above and beyond like pretty much any other of our sponsors. So appreciate you.
Well, thank you. Well, look forward to spending a lot more time with you guys. We're always here to help every way we can. We want to keep helping anglers catch personal best records, bring more attention to this industry. There's a lot of good things happening in a lot of the states. You and I have talked about how do we bring more awareness, in getting some of our state agencies and research institutes and so forth to share more information. I love the concept of bringing some of those folks together. I was glad to see what happened in Louisiana with, a reduction in creel limits and, increase in size. There's a guy named Joe Albee who does a lot of proactive work up in North Carolina. And so, love seeing what those guys are trying to do to help protect the fishery. And so I appreciate all of us working together for kind of a common goal. It's been a lot of fun, and you have 1,000% of my support. Awesome.
Yeah, we're, as a rule, it doesn't matter who it is. If you support conservation, we support you, and just try to boost everyone up,
Well, thank you. I wanted to also just do a quick call out. I had a great time. Thank you for turning me on to Bryant Wilson. We had a lot of fun fishing with Slackwater Expeditions when I was there a few weeks ago. He was a great guide and a great recommendation. He does some really good work in that area. That was a lot of fun. There's a new store that's just opening not far from you guys in Georgetown. The Winya Angler and Outfitter, a guy named Chris Suppley and his wife Allison are opening a new store, and so they've placed a big startup order. And it's nice seeing more people kind of come into the space and into the industry. So some really fun folks around your area that I've enjoyed meeting lately, and certainly wish them the best of luck as they get into their ventures.
Yeah, well, any shop here in South Carolina, you need a recommendation, just point them to me.
All right, will do. Thanks you so much for having me.
Good seeing you.
Appreciate you. Take care. All right. So Don's been he's been popping in and out. I don't know if he's got a very good connection, but let's go ahead and run through our results for September, which were outstanding. We had our top guides of the month were first and second place from South Carolina yet again. Super proud. Number one was Jimmy Skinner, who I just showed a picture of before, from Edisto Beach. And Chris Hossman from up in Little River was second. Those guys have had just kind of like a friendly competition going on. It's been pretty cool. But I want to give a shout out to Scotty Sevens up in New Jersey. He's been smacking the sheep's head, and I really appreciate him participating. The people that are like conservation-minded fishermen up there in New Jersey, they really see the potential for that fishery to get just annihilated. There's no regulations for sheep's head up there, so they're leading the way by releasing those fish and putting it out on the media so that hopefully people follow their lead. But look at that, 46 sheep's head over 20 inches from Scotty, and I think he said he had at least 20 more. So that's quite impressive. So our overall leaderboards, Keith, who's here listening, I think, is number one. Congrats, Keith. It took 26 fish to be number one in the nation. Top 10 was you had to have at least 10. So on our by state, our fair state, South Carolina, leading the way again. That's I think a lot has to do with our guides participating, which we'll take it. Virginia, number two. We're waiting for those guys to start getting pissed and take back their crown. It should be any day now, the way the water temperature's going, but we welcome it. And I love seeing New Jersey there, number four. That's pretty awesome. And even got Pennsylvania in there. So that's my friend Dan Mancari is up there. And a lot of people ask, like, how is it Pennsylvania? Well, if you look at the map, they actually do have some saltwater access on one of the rivers there. And Dan's been he's an amazing flounder fisherman. He's been up there doing really well. And if you think he's got a lot with two, wait until next month. You'll see, or this month when we post the results, he's got a lot of fish posted already. So always good to see. So we started doing leaderboards by species as well. And Robert Montana's at the top of the red drum with 21. Took 6 to make the top 10. Next is speckled trout. And there's my friend Keith up there with 23. Congrats, Keith. And Corey's here too. He had 3. So took 3 to make the top 10. And I know I'm whipping through these, but so there's Dan up there with 11 flounder and Scotty with 4. And you might notice that there might be some, looks like numbers that don't make sense. That might be the case, but usually it's because the way we count guided fish versus individual fish. For example, Scotty, he had all those sheep's head, but these are 4 that Scotty caught himself. The rest are with clients, and they fall into a different bucket. So it seems kind of weird. That's probably what the problem is. So let's go ahead and give away some prize packs. Sound good? So our first one is our captain's giveaway. And we've got, so these are put together by Kerry. Usually he would be telling us what's here, but we got a couple hats from Drum Spots. This is just a drop in the bucket to the hats that were donated by Andrew. We have hundreds of hats, so it's cool to be giving them away. We got a beanie, nice camo hat. We got some the Arctic Ice Cooler, some Incognito mosquito spray, and a nice top water from Coastal Swim Baits. By the way, if you're shopping for top water lures or some glide baits even. Check out Coastal Swim Baits. They've got some great stuff. I've actually bought one. I buy everything. Like I don't take anything from our donations. I go and I support our sponsors and just go buy just like anybody else. And I loaded up on some peanut topwaters from them, and they're awesome. So let me switch to our screen here. In our client giveaway, we have 243 entries, which is, it keeps getting bigger. It's really cool. So 200, what did I say, 243? 243. All right, so if you're new to this, this is how we do it. We roll it 3 times, and the third time's the winner, just to fully transparently. We don't know who's going to win any more than anyone else, and this is the most transparent giveaway in the fishing industry. And we're about to find out right now who's going to win. So we're going to first roll. It's 115, second 73, and the winner is 171. So we'll scroll down and see who that is. That's Jimmy Skinner. So again, the more you enter, the better chance to win. And he's the captain. His client is named David Sprague. And what we'll do is we'll send Jimmy that information, and he's going to go get David's mailing information. We're going to send him the package, and he will probably be surprised when he gets a box at his front door and then realizes what it's from. But congrats to Jimmy and to David. And Jimmy, again, he was our top guide this month, so it's not too much of a surprise that he got randomly chosen as the winner. Okay. Go back here. So we have 3 giveaways in the main draw. First one is a Epoch battery hand towel, Marshwear hat, drum spot t-shirt, AFCO keychain, some slick lures, and a peanut topwater from Coastal. So that's a nice one for any fisherman. Should enjoy that one. And let's see how many we got here. Oh, how many months have I done this and I still can't figure out how to do this smoothly? I need help. All right, let's see. There's 475 to choose from.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good. Okay, 475. Okay, 3 rolls. First roll is 50, 178. The winner is 304, which is 304. Nathan Hudson from Mississippi.
All right. We haven't had a Mississippi winner in a while. I
No, I haven't. Yeah, that's a 20-inch spot tail.
All right.
So let's give away A. Nice. All right. Giveaway B is another drum spot hat, a Grand Strand Saltwater Anglers hat, a pack of Slam Shadies from Salt Strong, and a nice mirror lure, MR18, I think. Nice little trout pattern there. So another good giveaway. All right, okay, 3 rolls again. 287, 59. The winner is 145. All right, that is Scotty Sevens. Nice. So
all right.
he was our 3rd place guide.
For a sheep's head.
This is his individual catch, 27-inch sheep.
Yeah.
That's a giant.
It's a stud. So
we got Mississippi and New Jersey in the house so far. That's pretty cool. Those are 2 states we haven't had in quite a while.
Yeah.
I don't think ever. Okay, and then here's our giveaway C. So we've got a hook fishing hat, a prime gancho hat. By the way, that acronym is Fisher Bay. So get your head out of the gutter. My kids are mortified by that. I have a sticker on my trailer like, Dad, you cannot put that on your trailer. I'm like, it's Fisher Bay. We got an Epoch battery koozie, a Mayor Tampa Bay drum spot T-shirt, a Fero Concepts sticker, and Q8 Super Baits. It's another nice package. All right. Okay, 3 rolls. 319. Second roll is 453, and the winner is 70, which is Alan Cutchin from Virginia with a 20-inch trout. I think I forgot to put that last one. That's B. Oops. If I don't put this, I forget. All right, so we're not done. We actually have 2 more to do. So one thing we've been doing lately, and we're probably going to try to do this more, is we're trying to have incentives for there's Jimmy. How you doing, bud? For tournaments. So we're still working out the best way to do this, but right now we've got 2 that we're sort of well, actually 3 that we're helping out with. One is the Virginia Trout Pool run by Charlie Church and others up there. It's a super popular tournament for Virginia trout anglers, and it's a really active group. And I told them I would sweeten the pot if they would enter their fish in our program, that we would pull from the entries once a month, and we'll award a shirt and a hat, like a hat like this, and then a shirt, T-shirt. So we're going to do that, and then after that, we'll do another tournament that Scotty Wasson, our NC state rep, was involved with, disabled veterans, and they entered a bunch of their fish as well. So we're going to I don't have the pack to display for them yet, but we're gonna pick it, and then we'll send it to the winner, and we'll get Scotty to help with that. But the prize pack for the Virginia Trout Pool is going to be a shirt and a hat. So we'll go ahead and choose that one now. So I have another tab here for Trout Pool. So Trout Pool, we actually have 46 entries in September.
For this is just Virginia, right?
Just Virginia.
Okay.
Just trout. So pretty cool to have that participation. So it's 46. All right, guys. Here we go. 3 rolls. 36, 40. The winner is 20. And that is, lucky winner is Donald Rogers with a 21-inch trout from Virginia. So congrats, Donald. We'll get in touch with you. And the next one is our disabled veterans. We have 22 entries from this tournament. And just like everything Scotty Wasson's involved with, it's a great cause. He does a lot with military veterans and things like that. So we'll go ahead and pick from that 22. Oops. All right, 22. Okay, 3 rolls. 16, 17, and the winner is 18. Olin Milliken with a 43-inch red drum.
Wow.
Congrats, Olin. All right. So, yeah, so got a lot done tonight.
Yeah, it was a long one.
Yeah. Greg's still here. I'm going to say goodbye to Greg.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks,
We'd
Greg.
love to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Keep the entries coming in. we'll have a some late comments coming in. We'll have the next one early in November for the October entries. We should have a zillion entries in October, so I hope a few of them are mine.
Yeah,
but
say that again.
Good to see y'all. Thanks again, Greg.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
Everybody be safe. Please be
everybody
safe.
be safe in Florida. Don't be a hero. Get out of town and keep your family safe.
And I hope everyone recovers, from the other one that already ran through last week.
In the North Carolina mountains, man. It's awful.
Thoughts are with you.
Thoughts are with you. Yep. All right. Take care, guys.
All right. Enjoy. Take care.
Good night.